Hello and good day. This is my amended presentation of Spooky2 for Beginners, Manage Your Spooky Data. The one I did 2 days ago, 3 days ago, depending where you are, for Spooky, there were some technical problems which drove me crazy, so I'm redoing it. So I started this morning to redo it, and then the power went out. So this is take two today. So hopefully this works and the whole thing isn't jinxed. So let's move into this and work through all this stuff today. First, the disclaimer, all the products here, this is experimental and education only. We're not making any claims about any health benefits at all. Certainly, I'll give you my opinion when asked, but we can't take any official position. Q&A, Q&A is not going to be an issue for this one, but in the original presentation, the Q&A was done. The Q&A and the chat stuff is all saved regardless of this presentation, and the presentation is almost identical. So that will still be available from the Spooky2 Academy website along with this video. If you'd like a copy of this presentation, meaning a PDF, send me an email, spookytechhelp@gmail.com. That is spookytechhelp@gmail.com. That's where you can reach me. So who the heck am I? Well, my name is Michael Goss. Again, there's my email address, spookytechhelp@gmail.com. I've been working on various I've been working on various things since 1974, meaning user-based stuff and working with people. Went into the computer side of life in 1979, so I've been around for a while. I've been a Spooky2 user since 2018. I currently have I currently have two GX generators. One's a regular GX and the one's GX Pro. I have 18 XM generators scattered around various places. I have 3 physical Spooky2 sites. The reason for that is I have 2 relatives who are not in the same place, but they're both about 1,000 miles away from me. And so I actually have a computer and a couple spooky generators there because I couldn't do things remotely. I'm doing contact mode in both of those. And so that the box needs to physically be there. I actually have 3 spooky computers at my home where I am at the moment. And that's because here in my office, it's where I do all my remote work. In my living room, I have our GX in there. That's where I run my plasma, and that's where I do my contact mode biofeedbacks. And in my bedroom is where my scaler is, and so I use the other GX in there with the scaler. Now, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to figure out how to do this, because I do biofeedbacks on the scaler in the living room, but I'm usually running them in my office. So I had to figure out how to get the information in here. And some of you have that same issue. So I've had a colloidal silver kit since 2022, a Centron plasma since 23, and the scaler since 22. Again, you can email me at any time. I also have a Telegram channel, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I'm also an administrator of one of the administrators in the Facebook Spooky2 Right for Life group. It's a really good group, and 94,000 plus members and growing constantly. There are a number of big time experts in there that can help with their various questions. It's worthwhile to be there, even if you don't like Facebook, which I really do. Okay, goals. So what am I trying to do? Well, number one, I want you to understand the basics of the user data, what is it, and where is it, and that sort of stuff. And I'll go into why you need that in a minute. So here's the skills I'm trying to convey in this presentation. I want you to know how to back up your spooky user data. I want you to know how to restore your spooky user data. I want you to be able to copy saved presets from one computer to another. I want you to be able to copy your custom programs from one computer to another and copy your biofeedback data from one computer to another. So why the heck do you even care about this? It's an interesting question. And I've had this question posed on Facebook. Suppose you get a new computer. Why would you do that? Well, it's because your old computer bit the dust, or you need to set it up for somewhere else or whatever. So how do you get your data from the old computer to the new computer? And by the way, if you have a hardware failure, there's a fair chance that even if you get it repaired, that may affect the hard drive and you'll lose all your data. So that's the issue with that. So, um, and the third thing that really pushed me is I have more than one computer. How do I get biofeedback from computer A to computer B? Okay, first let's do an overview on this. When you save a preset in the preset tab, that preset is a text file and it is saved into C Spooky2 preset collections user. That's the folder that it goes to. If you're in the programs tab and you put some programs together and you want to save them, that goes into a file and C Spooky2 custom.csv. We'll talk about what that means in a little while. If you save your biofeedback, which most people do, that goes into a file at C Spooky2 BFB frequencies.csv. That's where those go. And finally, the other thing you need to know about is when you run a biofeedback, it saves all the data, because when you run a biofeedback, what it's doing is it says, here, send this frequency, how is your response? Send this frequency, how is the response? And it does that for a bunch of frequencies. Well, all that data is saved in a file for that biofeedback session in Spooky2 scan data. And so if you need to redo things or whatever, that's the place to do it. Plus, there's a bunch of working data. That's not covered in this presentation. What is working data? Well, working data is the current status of all your generators, what it's doing, information about a given generator, all that sort of stuff. That's where Spooky2 keeps the information, so that if something happens and you have to restart Spooky2, you can do a resume all and it can find all what it was doing. That's how it knows. All right. So it's a very interesting record, but we don't do anything with that data because you could back it up, but it really doesn't apply if you put it on another computer or even if you restore it to the same computer. Okay. So let's talk about the user stuff. So this is your presets. Where is it kept? And this is what it looks like. And we're going to go look at that right now. This is one of the things that I had problems with when I was doing this a few days ago. So here we are, and this is our Spooky, and this is a nifty test system I have here. And so we're going to go into File Explorer, which is this little folder down here, and there he is here. And if I go down here to this PC, so that was here on the left, then double click on local disk, and they'll go find Spooky2. That's right here. And then we look at preset collections. We already did this. We look at in the presentation. And then we go look at user. These are the things that are in the user directory. So I have some people stuff in here. I have things I've organized because it's a contact mode or a plasma or remote. And then I have things I didn't organize anywhere at all. And that's what the stuff is in here. So that's where this is. So the way this stuff gets here is you're in here and you're looking at you've created something in presets and you say, I want to go save it. And when you do, that's always hit the rerun. So you would say shell empty presets, remote, we're going to use healing RJW. Then if I added a program in here of not cancer, that's for sure. Say abdominal pain. So now I've added that in. Then I go back to presets and I save it, which is right here. This guy right here. So it saves everything. I get to name it anything I want. I can put it in subfolders. You can't put it any higher than this. It goes in subfolders. That's how you save something. Okay, back to our presentation. All right, what about saved programs? Well, saved programs are contained. That's what a saved program is. If you create something in here and you save it, that's this save right here. That's the one we're talking about. Where does that go? Well, that goes, let's use a File Explorer. Let's go back to Spooky2. So it's in the Spooky2 folder. And it is in custom.csv. If I can find it. That's it's this one right here. Now notice, well, I'll talk about the Excel stuff later, but that's where this folder, that's where this stuff is. It's all contained in that file. And finally, BFB frequencies. when you save a BFB frequency, so the 10 hits you get, that goes into BFB frequencies.csv. This guy right here. Notice that's a tilde CSV. That's not the one. That's a backup file that some things create. But this is the one, and so it's saved in a file. And we'll look at that in just a little while. But that's where that stuff gets done. So the last thing I want to talk about is when you run a biofeedback, it's saving all this data. Let's go look at that back into Spooky2, and then into scan data. So there's an entire folder with all the things that you've done. Every time you do a biofeedback, it creates this file with a bunch of junk in it, and it's a separate file for each one, which comes in handy, and we'll exploit that later in this presentation. Okay. So if you want to back up your Spooky data, you need to back up the following things. You need to get this file, Spooky2 BFB frequencies, because that's where your 10 frequencies are all saved in that single file. So that goes back. I have stuff going back to 2020. I can't remember what happened to the stuff before that, but it goes back to 2020. There's another file, Spooky2 custom CSV. That's if you were to combine a bunch of programs together in a programs tab, you'd save them. Or some people say, I've got a list of frequencies or a single frequency. I want to create a program out of it. But it all goes here in the custom CSV. Okay. Then you want the entire folder, Spooky scan data. And that is so you can get all that raw data that that biofeedback saved. Because believe me, it does come in handy later. We might talk about it. And then finally, you want to save Spooky2 preset collections user, because that's where all your saved presets are. That's really important. One of the reasons I save all my presets is because I've had lots of examples since 2018 when I got mine, where I did something that worked really well and I don't need it anymore. So now I go on to treat something else. Well, 3 months from now, I need that again. And I can't remember how I built it. I mean, that's why I save everything. I can go back and find it that way. And I don't have to say, well, I'll go do this shell preset, and maybe I use this program I don't know what I did, because there's usually a lot of programs you can use. So that's the whole point of saving. That's why the user stuff is really important. All right. So you can use File Explorer to save all these things. That was File Explorer we're looking at. Or you can have a simple bat file, which is a list of commands, which this is, to do this. Now, all this code here is in the presentation and in the PDF. And we're going to take this stuff and we are going to actually go create this bat file right now. That was one of the things that didn't work when I did this beginning. So let me go find that. This is a PDF of this presentation almost. So if I scroll down here, both skills, so you'll get familiar. Oops, that's the move. Here's the bat file. This is code. This is batch code in Windows rooms. So we did that. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to copy it. Copy selection. Okay. So all the stuff it now has in an area in the computer. So then let's go over to my computer here. I don't need this at the moment. What I want to do is I want to create something. For that, we're going to click on this little blue window down here. We're going to do into Notepad. If it ever catches up, performance on this test machine is terrible. Let's see, open Notepad. And here we are in Notepad. Now, all I have to do is right click on it and say paste. Voila. That is all the code that we just got out. This is something that is a single command we're going to run. It's going to back up everything. That's what it does. Now, the only thing you need to worry about, you may need to change this one here, this disk. You may need to change this to the drive letter of your thumb drive. Normally, if you have nothing else going on, the thumb drive will come in as disk D or E. In my system, it comes in as E. So you will need to change that or this won't work. That's the way this works. Now, we need to save this. So we've got this. We're ready to save it. We're going to file, and I'm going to say save. It's a brand new file, so where do you want to put this? I want to put this on the desktop. So I'm going to click on desktop. So it's going to go to the desktop. See, it says desktop up there. Now, The name of this is, you can call it anything you want. I recommend this. .bat. The .bat is really important. That knows what to do with it. But you have to change this text document to all files. So now it's going to create this spooky background. So I'm going to save it. So it's now saved. So let's go look at our desktop over here. This is it right here. That's what we just created. It is these commands. And so it's going to be there on the desktop, not a problem. Okay. So let's see what we do with that. So now we've got that. Oops, wrong one. I need the actual presentation. And I can email you this if you prefer, but it's so easy just to copy and paste it out of here. That's the easiest way to do it. And remember, you need to make sure your thumb drive is going to be disk E, and we'll look at that in a second. All right, so now we're going to demonstrate it. So the first thing, we go back over to my test system. The first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and we need to put in the thumb drive. So for that one, this one, now let's go put this in so we can see what happens. Notice this. I got something in here that says thumb drive E. Now, if you don't get that, so that's the drive letter. If you don't see this, and you never get this, there's a couple possible reasons. One of them is Windows sort of keeps track of what was, if it saw it before. Yeah. And so what you can do is you can go into File Explorer and look down here on the left on the list. It'll show somewhere thumb drive in E. So you see that. So you know it's E. So we have it set up correct. So now we have that. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to run this. And it says, yep, do you have it in? Yes, I do. I can hit enter then. And it didn't copy anything. And the reason for that is because I've done this before. And so what it does, it copies anything new that it found. So actually, it's copied a whole bunch of stuff out there already, but the command is still the same. And we can look at it using File Explorer and look at this guy. So this Spooky2 backup, all that stuff in here, the scan data, the user, it's all in here, and it did it automatically. So it's really nice. It's really simple to get a quick backup of it, so that if you ever need it, you have it. Don't back it up onto your C drive. If your computer crashes, you'll lose the backup as well as the actual data. So that's not a good idea. That's why I'm using a thumb drive for this. Now, being the backup sort of person that I am, I prefer doing this automatically. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So how do we do that? So this is new. This is a non-spooky thing, but this is a Windows thing. So what we're going to do, we hit the blue again, and we're going to go to schedule. So we're going to open scheduler. So this is the task scheduler. It's built into all Windows systems. All right. And in here, I got rid of it. So in here, I can set up something to run on a regular basis. And we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go here, I'm going to create a basic task. That's what this is. And I want to call this Spooky Backup. You can call it anything you want. I like Spooky Backup. Next. This is really simple. I want to do this daily. I could do it monthly. I could actually do it hourly if I wanted to. I'm not demonstrating that, but yes, you can do it hourly. So I'm going to do it daily. And I want to happen every day. And I'm going to set this, I don't want to do it right now. You can set the time. So I'm going to make this do it at 12 o'clock p.m. So at noon, every day, it's going to run my Spooky Backup. And I want to start a program. That's the action that's going to do at noon every day. Now, so it's the name. Well, I do a browse for that. And I know it's on the desktop. And here it is, Spooky Backup. I'll double click on that and add it in. And yep, and it's going to do it. Yes, we're done. That's how easy it is to do this. Finish. So every day at noon, this is going to run. That's the way this thing's going to work. Now, of course, you need to have thumb drive in there. It can't, it's going to pause and say, hey, yeah, I need the thumb drive. But you need to have the thumb drive in there. You need to have it in there, but you have a chance to plug it in after it starts if that's what you want to do. But every day it's going to start. Now, the easiest thing to do is to leave the thumb drive in all the time. And then you don't have, and we can modify it so it doesn't ask you every time, but that's the easiest way to do that. This open anymore? Let's go back to our presentation. That's it. Okay. Now, let's move on. So what if we want to move to a new computer? How do we do that? Well, the first thing you're going to do with a brand new computer, just install Spooky2. Drop it in, download it from the website and install it. Of course, it won't have any of your stuff in it, but that's fine. You installed it, you've got the Spooky2 running. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use File Explorer and your thumb drive to copy the files back to the C drive. That's the intent. It's not hard to do. Essentially, let's see. Let me see if I can demo. Let's see. I think of a demo. Probably not. So it's a drag and drop or a right click copy, that sort of stuff. So that's all you have to do to get all your data onto your new computer. It's quite simple. Okay. That's option one. Option two is you could, if you don't have the backup of it, which we did, if you did have the backup, you can use File Explorer on your old computer to copy all of Spooky2, the whole thing, onto the thumb drive. There's a lot of files. It's going to take a few minutes to do. And then on the new computer, you're going to install Spooky2 from the Spooky2 website. Once that's installed, don't run it, just install it. Step 3, use File Explorer to copy the entire Spooky2 folder from your thumb drive to your C drive, which you're going to overwrite everything that you just installed, which is fine. You'll be happy with that. It'll work fine for you. It's really simple to do that. A lot of programs can be really a pain, but Spooky is actually really easy to do this. Now, what if you just want user data to another computer? That's certainly a possibility. And that's when you get, that's when you're trying to sync multiple computers. All right, well, first thing you do is I would recommend the Spooky back command, which we already did. Then we need to move the thumb drive to the other computer. And then we're going to use File Manager to copy it. And I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So first, no, I don't want to do that. Here, again, I have a lot of test systems. That's how I'm doing this. Remove devices, disconnect this from the first computer. Then we'll go over to the second computer. And we're going to add him in here. Okay, so here we see, oops, on back. Okay. So in here, this is the green computer. So this is this computer now. We have installed this in here, the thumb drive. Let's go make sure it's there in File Explorer. And thumb drive E, yep, it's there. Let's go look and see what's in it. Oh, look, here is the data from our other system. So go back. So we can go get, for instance, preset collections user. If we go into user, which is what this is, I think, if it is, Spooky backup, we can right click on user. We can say copy, and then we can go back to this PC, local disk, then Spooky2, and then preset collections, and then we can paste it here. And it will go copy everything in, theoretically, which it did. All the stuff wasn't there before. So it was that easy to move or to copy my preset collections over to this computer. It's easy to do. So that's all you need to do to copy your user stuff. Now, what if you have saved programs? Saved programs are different because they're in a file. This is what the file looks like. And so what happens is, and this is, which one is custom? So if I go add another program using the Programs tab, when it saves it, it's going to put it as a new line at the bottom of this. That's the way it works. You can't change it. You can't sort it. It's a real pain. So, although we'll talk about that in a little while. So anyway, that's how this works. So how are you going to get this from your old computer? Well, the easiest thing to do is to copy the entire Spooky2 custom CSV file from one thumb drive to another. But keep in mind, it takes everything. That's the problem. So if I have 10 saved programs on computer one, and I have 3 saved programs on computer 2, when I do this, all the stuff that was on computer 2 is going to be gone. All I have was what's on is what came from computer 1. That actually works pretty well if you're only saving programs from one computer, because you don't care. What I want is I want all the computers to be the same. So if you made all your changes on program 1 and you never saved a program on computer 2, you'd be fine. It would work just fine. All right. So, but reality kicks in. Sometimes I need to do this and this and do that and that sort of stuff. And so they're rarely in sync. They rarely are. So while this is easy to do, and it's the same sort of process we just did, I'm not going to bother with the demo because it's just a copy and paste. So that's the first option. What's the second option? Well, the second option is you can copy lines from computer 1 to computer 2. So how are you going to do that? Well, before I do that, there's a caveat here. We're going to use Notepad to do this. You can use, well, the computers going to want to use Excel if you have it installed, or LibreOffice if you have that. Don't use either one. If you just double click on it, it's going to open Excel. The problem is it's really easy to damage the file with Excel, no matter what you do. Oh, I want to save it just like it is. It doesn't necessarily do that. And I've seen a number of people that do this, and they end up corrupting their custom CSV. And I end up sometimes email to me and I'll fix it if I can and email it back to you. It's a real pain. So this thing to do is use Notepad, in my opinion. Okay. So let's go back here. So how does this work? Well, my thumb drive has my stuff from computer 1 in it. I'm in computer 2, because it's green. All right, so if I go, and we're doing custom CSV. So if I right click on that, I can say open with. Because actually in this system, I don't have Excel, sir. But I want to do an open with, and it should give me Notepad. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, for crap's sakes. Everything's a freaking project. You know that? Okay. I know I use Notepad here. Notepad. Okay. Open Notepad. Notepad, they enhanced the crap out of Notepad. And when they did, they broke the old Notepad, at least in Windows 11. And so if you don't have the new one on, you get into this problem. That's fine. We'll go do this from the other system. It's going to be the same difference anyway. Mobile devices, discontinue. Connect you back over here. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I have these systems I'm working on. I do stuff with VMware. Actually, this computer I'm running is a Linux computer. What you're looking at now is actually Windows 11. But I have 2 other Windows 11s running on the same computer, and this is one of them, by the way. This test system that's green. I don't want the green one, I want the blue one. So this is my blue one. We'll go down here. I'm sorry for the technical problems. We should have, yep, there's my thumb drive. So we're going to pretend this is the other system. It's the same difference for the process. So we want to go look at custom. Right click on that. I want to open with, and I want it with, there's an edit in Notepad here. We're going to do that. This is what it looks like. Not very pretty, is it? And I always do view, and I take it out of word wrap. So suppose I wanted these 2 into my Spooky here. Well, what I can do is I can mark them. So what I did, and for you guys who are PC people and Windows, this is extraordinarily boring, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to mark these 2, and then I can do a right click and a copy. Then what I need to do is let's go back into File Explorer, look Spooky2, look at custom, and this there. And I'm going to edit Notepad this one as well. And then, and again, I would do view and put this turn off word wrap because it's easier. And those are in here anyway, but because it was the same file. So they're not in here anymore. So what I'm going to do is I have those. Remember, I actually can't do that. I actually copied this from the other one. So I can do a paste in here, which is paste. And there they are. So I can paste them in here. Then I can save this. And I'll save it. So it's saved. I can close this one. I don't care about it anymore. Is that? So I've saved it. And then if I go look at Spooky, so what I have to do when I change that is I have to go into database refresh. So I'll do the database refresh. That was in custom. So let's go look at custom. I turned off all the other databases, actually turned them all. This is what's in custom. And see, these are the ones I just pasted in there. It's really not hard to do, but you need to be careful and do it very specifically. If you copy and paste partial stuff, that'll be bad. It won't be able to open the database, or it won't find it, or whatever. And so just be careful and make sure you have the entire record and you're in good shape. That's the whole key to that. All right, so that's what I use is copy and paste. Now, biofeedback's the same way. It's well, it's mostly the same way. But biofeedback, because there's the BFB frequencies.csv file, and because there's scan data file stuff, you have a choice of how to do this. So we're going to do that right now. There's three options. Say three options then? Yep, three options. Okay, first thing, you could copy the entire BFB frequencies from your thumb drive or from the other computer to this computer. We've talked about that. And as long as you're doing biofeedback only on one computer, yes, you can do that. You can overwrite the computer I'm on right now. It's no problem. And that's great if that's what you're doing. I got news for you. That's rare, but it's possible. So if you don't ever do biofeedback stuff on this computer, you could just copy the whole thing. And again, that's the easiest. But remember, you'd lose anything you've done on this computer. I'm not going to bother with the demo. So option two. Option two is the same thing as we did before with the custom. You can go in and you can use Notepad to edit the BFB database, and they look almost identical files. The entries do. So I'm not going to bother with that either. You can copy those in from what you backed up on the other computer to this computer, if that's what you want to do. That's a pain. I don't really like it. There's a better way in my opinion, and that is the scan data stuff. So what that means is if we go in here and we go into file and we go look at our scan data. Okay, so we're in scan data. So these are all things in scan data. And if I look, I have a biofeedback here that was done in whenever. It was done on the 11/15th. I have other BFBs for me and for other people, scalar ones, and I put these names in. That's part of what you can do. Actually, where that naming is. Those are named. You should know this. Those are named as Spooky. When you do a biofeedback, come on, system, come up. This is it. Okay, you do biofeedback. We'll go into presets, home, biofeedback, generator X, and then we'll use general feedback. And we're going to go plop that overwrite generator into generator 3. Well, before I do the scan, this name that I put in here in log name, that stuff gets filled in as part of what gets saved. So when I look at this one, I didn't put anything in. So it always names it BFB. It has the date, the time, including the seconds. That's what's named. But this one down here, I put my name in. That's all I put in this field. I put my name, Mike. That's all that was there. And when it did, because I did that, it shows up black spot. It shows up in here. This particular one, I did a scalar, and I put the scalar in, and I put my wife's name in. So it put whatever I put in there, that's what names it. It comes in handy sometimes. So if I want to just move these over to the new system, again from the thumb drive, I could select each one, do a copy, and then I could go into, whoops, wrong place. Thumb drive. You have to be careful of that. So let's get this one, and this one. We're sorting different. That's the reason it looks different. So if we get these, we right click on it, we say copy. Then we go over to scan data, which is in this PC, okay? And we do, actually, can we do a paste here? They change things all the time. So we do a paste, and it'll say, well, I have some of these files. We can just skip them or we can replace them. I'm going to say replace, it won't matter. But because they're already there, I skipped it. Now, cool, now we have that. So what does that mean to us? Well, we have those files over here. So what can I do? That's what the cool little analyze button is for. This is a bonus you get from this one, guys. If I click on the analyze button, I've got to have a generator that's not running. Actually, I usually use the virtual generator because I'm not doing anything in anyway. I can click on analyze, and it'll show me the stuff that's in scan data. And then I can say, I want to click on this one and open it, and it'll read in all the data, and it'll give me the top 10 frequencies from that. Now, and so using that, I've done that, and then I can save this in, I go ahead and save it in my BFB frequencies. Knows it uses today's date because it's today. I'm not, well, yeah, we'll say. But the other thing you can do, because I make this mistake all the time, a number of the presentations I've gone to talk about when you do a biofeedback, you really should use angle plus current. Okay, I always forget to click that. I wish I could set it as the default, but that doesn't work. But you can, leaving a current, you can do an analyze plus, which does that for you because it's the same data. So I want to do an analyze plus. We'll take the same. Let's see. I use this one. We'll take this. We'll open this, and this it'll give me a different 10 frequencies because now it's doing it with the combined. It's a plus. So that comes in handy as well. Anyway, so if you want to move data, biofeedback data from computer A to computer B, one of the easiest ways to do is just bring over all the scan data and do it from there. That's a really easy way to do that because you can just build your own stuff over here. Okay. Now, automation. I don't have a demo for this because I'm only playing with this. So when you're merging data, preset files, you can just bring them over because if they're already here, they'll say, what do you want me to do with them? Oh, I don't want to replace them. There's no point. Or I can replace them all. It doesn't matter. But if there's 5 files that don't exist here, just bring everything over and you'll get the 5 files as well. Custom and biofeedback programs have to be copied and merged by record. So that's a little more complex, obviously. Now, ideally, if you have a home network, then you can access those files from any of your Spooky computers. And that's the ideal thing to do. That way you don't have to use a thumb drive. So, and I actually have some automation I'm working on to do that. Actually, the merge stuff was the hardest stuff, and I've done that. And so when I do stuff, I can sit on my office computer and say, here, go get the biofeedback data from this computer. And it'll go get it all, but merge in what's changed. And so, and if you're interested in helping me test that, or you want to think about doing that, and you have moderate technical experience, meaning you understand what a local network is and all that, send me an email and I'd be more than happy to send you some stuff and get some ideas and that sort of stuff. Because there are a number of us that have that problem where we have multiple computers. How do we keep them in sync? And I'm just telling you, I'm working on it, and other people might be interested as well. If you have remote computers like I do, that's yet another layer of stuff. How do I have one in Phoenix and I'm in Chapala, Mexico. How do I sync that data? It's not quite as easy, but can be done. And again, if you're interested in that, let me know, and we'll work together to test what I have or to come up with whatever it needs to have. Because I'm interested in doing that as well. All right, now There's also in Spooky, there's something called a CSV editor. That's the file type. It's okay, but I like Notepad, which is what I demo. It's really easy to use for name changes and dwell time changes and deleting records. The reason I bring those up is sometimes I do a typo when I save something and I want to change the name. So that's what that is. Dwell time, that's because a lot of us, not me anymore, but a lot of us use the Stephanie Ah method of doing imprinting stickers. Well, Stephanie Ah has you change the dwell time to 10 seconds, which is fine. However, when you change that dwell time, any anything you save from then on remembers what was in there last time. So you save a bunch of stuff. It's now 10 seconds for that as well, or 1 second, or whatever you set it to. And so if you made that mistake and you need to go back to 3 minutes, which is what you should be using for anything other than imprinting, imprinting stickers actually, then it's easy to go change those dwell times of anything you save. And the final thing is, gee, I created a bunch of junk and I shouldn't have. I want to delete them. Yes, that's pretty easy to do that. And we're going to do a demo of all this in a second. So to use this, you go in the database pull down up here, and you're going to do a edit custom database or an edit biofeedback database, whichever one you want to do. This is what it looks like. Again, we're going to go in a second. These are the actual names that you see in the programs tab. And you can, if you right click on this one, for instance, you can edit it and change. Again, here's the name, here's the dwell, here's the actual frequencies in it you could mess with, which I wouldn't recommend. And then you're going to save it when you get done, when you close it. But once you do that, you have to go to the database and refresh the database in order to get those changes into Spooky. Spooky reads them in when it comes up, and it doesn't look at them again. You do this, and it forces it to look at it again. So what does that look like? That looks like, back to the blue one, we're going to go into database, and let's go edit the biofeedback database. That's down here. Click on that. Hopefully it comes in. There it is. So here's the stuff in here. Oh, that was an old one. That was the 2020. That's when I had shingles. So if I right click on that, say put the mouse on it, and I can move things around. I haven't done that. I'm careful about that. But yes, you can go sort things if you really want to. I usually want to edit the record, and so I can change the name. Don't change the BFB. That's a bad idea. You could, but it's a bad idea. Notes on when it was created, the frequencies in general, and column 8 is the dwell time. So if I'm going to change this to 181, and then I say ready, meaning I'm ready to go. Save the changes. Yes, I want to do that. And then when you're done doing whatever you're doing, like if I want to delete this one, I right click on it, delete the record. And yes, see, it's gone. When I'm done, all I got to do is close the window up here. It'll say, hey, do you want to save it? Yes, I do. And voila, it's there. And unfortunately, I can't show you because what I changed. Let's do that again. So this was biofeedback. And we'll change this one. Edit him. Change this to white. So this was Michael blood sample, blood shingles, right? That's what it was. Saying ready. Yes, we do. Save it. Close this. Save it. Yes, we do. Now in Spooky Land, if we go in here, this is biofeedback, so that's in here. Notice this is the one we changed. Hasn't changed here yet. That's because we have to do a database refresh. And now it should be in here somewhere. Yep, it's right here. No. Blood shingles. See, it says Mike blood shingles. So we've changed that. It's actually pretty easy to use. It's not too bad to do. Like I said, I'm lazy. I find it easy to use Notepad, but this does work. It works well. Okay, back to here. All right. So I'm done with this presentation. Here's the summary of what we've done. We've covered a lot. So we talked about what the user files are and where they're located. We talked about how to back them up. Okay. We talked about automation of Spooky2 backup of user files. We talked about restoring a backup of the user files. We talked about moving presets, moving programs, and moving biofeedback between computers. And we talked about CSV edit, which is a handy little tool. So that's what we've talked about today. I do one-on-one training, technical training, and consultations. If you want me, you can send me an email at spookytechelp@gmail.com. I've done everything with Spooky, from unboxing and initial setup to specific accessory training, literally. And I'll call people and they'll have stuff out of the box and it'll be sitting on the bed. That's it. Okay. And we've gone through, okay, plug this in there, plug it in. Here's what a cable looks like. So if that's what you need, it's not a problem. I've done a bunch of that. On the other hand, I just got my plasma. My system's working. What do I do now? Those sorts of things. I've done all that stuff, so it's not a problem. Um, I don't do remote treatments. So, you can't send me your fingernails, and I don't, that's not me. There are others that do that, but I'm not one of them. I'm planning on you having your own equipment. And I don't give practitioner advice. When you say, well, I have cancer and this isn't working for me, what should I do now? Here's what I can do for that. I can say, well, if it were me, I'd do this. But you have to understand, I don't treat people for cancer, although I'm starting to treat, I have some friends and relatives who have cancer and I have the equipment. So I'm going to start doing that. But right now I don't. I can certainly help you try to figure out what else you can do. If you're looking for somebody to say, oh yeah, I treated 5 people last week and they had this problem and you need to do this now, that's not me. I can make suggestions on people you can talk to about that, but that's not me. Again, contact me if you need that sort of stuff. All right. My personal belief is Spooky2 works. I know it works. It's just a matter of finding generally the right frequency. And so, that's the way it is. I'm currently treating my mother-in-law who lives 1,000 miles from me, and I'm actually going up there this next week. And I'm taking my Spooky equipment with me, including my plasma, which I've never traveled with. When I travel, I usually take the GX with me, and I might take a blue generator or two with me and a computer because I do stuff at other people's houses. And last time I was up there, I actually set her up her own system and we're doing things in contact mode because frankly, we don't have the money to buy a plasma system for her. And so it's been working pretty well. I'm doing the cancer DB. She's not getting any worse, but it's hard to tell unless you're on death's doorstep. It's hard to tell when you're getting better with cancer. But anyway, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to start doing some plasma stuff on her as well. And this is her, by the way, she's 85. This is her third round of cancer, and she's not getting any other treatments. Before, I wasn't involved. She did whatever she wanted to do. She was just using conventional stuff. But this time, I'm not going through that stuff again, and I don't blame her. One of the things I did do for her is the second time she had cancer, she had just finished her treatments, and I just happened to be there. She had throat cancer, which is terrible. With the radiation stuff they do, you get 3rd-degree burns in your esophagus, which you can imagine how painful that is. So she got done with it. They gave her she was on some heavy duty pain pills and that sort of stuff. And I said, well, we might be able to help you with a imprinted sticker. So I looked and yes, there is one radiation burn program out there. So I made her 4 imprinted stickers because I only do 4 at a time. I said, look, I made these for you. I want you to try them out. And don't put them on the spot, put them near it. Okay. Cause that's, obviously you don't want to make it worse. And I'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But when I give anybody stickers, it's like, look, I want the truth. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You won't hurt my feelings, but I want to really know. My view on stickers is they don't work for everything on everybody, but they work on some things for everybody. That's what I found. So I gave her the stickers. And so she put them on. And I talked to her the next day. She said, well, I put it on about 7 or 8 and was feeling a little better about 10, but not too much improvement. She says she woke up on the next day. She was no pain. She didn't need to take pills anymore. And considering what she was through, that was impressive. So I know stickers work, even for stuff like that. Although I use stickers for spot treatment, okay? So very localized stuff. Would I treat cancer with it? Well, I might, if I had cancer, I might make some stickers up, but I guarantee I would be doing the cancer DB protocol with plasma. That'd be my number 1 choice, or remote, my number 2 choice. I'm not going to depend on stickers to help. I like them I got a sore knee. That's what I think. All right, sorry about that. I work on a donation based. That's just so that you know. Most people do donate based on the value of your financial situation, all that sort of stuff. Other people I've met and helped people that they spent their last dollar buying whatever spooky stuff they have, but they need help setting up. No problem. Let me know. We'll get together. I usually do a Zoom session. You'll get a copy of the video because we record it, and we'll get you one. And if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And I want people to be able to use their Spooky. That's the whole point of this. So here's my email again. If you need something, email me, and I'm pretty responsive, except right after I do the presentation. When I did this presentation on Wednesday, for Wednesday for me, I got busy on Thursday, and I mean this is Saturday already, and I haven't touched the emails yet because I needed to redo the presentation, which I'm doing right now. So after this, I will get busy with those things. But most of the time, I respond the next day. Okay. And if I don't respond the next day or in time, send me another email. And that always helps. And also, I'm on Telegram as well. So if you're on the group, you can get my attention there. Okay. So copies of presentation, I talked about it. Oh, there's a discount code. If you buy some new spooky stuff in the month of December, if you please use the Michael 1204, you'll get the same 8% discount they're offering on the website, but I get some credit for that, and you get a free pack of TENS pads with the Spooky2 logo on it. So after the Christmas sale's over, and it may be over the 26th, I don't know, then it goes to 5%, which is the normal amount for any of these presentations. And you'll get a thing for a survey. It'd be really helpful if you take the survey. It helps the Spooky2 people figure out whether I'm a good or bad presenter and whether they want me some more. Also, it helps figure out what they need to present. I have some training resources. The Facebook group. I really like the Facebook group. If you're not in it, you should be. I know people hate Facebook, and I don't use Facebook for, oh, gee, I'm going to the store right now. That drives me crazy when people do that. I use it for groups like the Spooky2 Right for Life group. I find it very, very good. And I'm answering probably 10 different posts a day and that sort of stuff. And there's a bunch of other admins who have a lot more experience than I do who are there doing the same thing. I have a YouTube channel at Spooky Tech Help. And so there'll be a copy of this up there, plus a copy of the other presentations I've done. Plus I do demos. I just did one today. How do I create a custom preset? I think that's pretty basic, but no, it's for new people, it's not. You need a shell preset, you need some programs, you need to save it, you need to run it. And I did a 5-minute or 4-minute demo on that. And I have demos on how do I run biofeedback? How do I run sample digitizer certifiable biofeedback? Or a more complex one, how do I run sample digitizer hunt and kill? That's a little more complex. But there's a bunch of stuff like that out. So it's worthwhile if you want to look into that. My Telegram channel is this one, https t.me Spooky Tech Help. My email, which I've said a bunch of times, is still spookytechhelp@gmail.com. And finally, I have PDF files of all my presentations and worksheets and samples like the bat file we're doing here. So send me an email if you want, and I'll give you access to all of it. Now, that's the easiest thing to do. So, it's not, like I said, I'm not in this to make money. That's for sure. I'm in this to help people, and I find it very rewarding. Spooky2 training resources, okay? The help in the Spooky2 software, you click on that and click on user's guide. That's the user guide. It's pretty good, actually. I kind of like it. I wish they'd update it, but it's pretty good. It's well worth it, and that's where you find it. The quick start guide. You got a hard copy. It's a blue book looking thing with a planet on it. And that's not too bad. To me, it's more hardware oriented, but you got a hard copy, and it's also in the quick start guide. So it's in Spooky2 quick start guide. That's the PDF. The Spooky2 blog articles. I find that really interesting. I just started playing with those. That's here in Spooky2-mall/blog-index. There's a lot of stuff in there of how to do stuff and success stories and what they did. It's well worth looking at and keeping up on. The Spooky2 Academy. The Spooky2 Academy is where all the organization of the weekly events are. Usually there's 2 events per week. There's actually one that's aimed at the US and the Far East time-wise, and there's one that aimed at EU and points around there. And they're different topics. So it's well worth going there and look at the event list, and it shows you the upcoming events. And in there, like if this particular session that we're done with here, you'll find that in there. And if I've already presented it, you click on that, you'll get to watch it, although that takes them a couple days. If it's something new, you click on it and you'll be able to register it, and they'll register for it, they'll send it to you. And all this is free, keep in mind. That's one of the things about Spooky that I really like. All this stuff is free. The only thing they make money on is the hardware. Everything else is free. And I think that's really good. Vimeo, vimeo.com/spooky2. That's where actually all the videos are kept these days. So this one will be out there within a few days from now. So Monday or Tuesday, it'll be out there. That's where it's all kept. So, and by the way, the search works really well. The search in Spooky 2 Academy is awful. Awful is the best way to put it. I'm being kind. And so if you want to look for something, you're better off looking at Vimeo. Finally, there's YouTube. And so YouTube, there's a lot of good videos there, but a lot of them are really old. So make sure if you can look at a video, try to look at videos that are 2023 or newer. When I got my scaler, the first thing I did is said, I want to see I want to see the video I hook it up. So I went to YouTube, did a search. Yeah, I found it. Hey, there's a John White one there. You ought to know about it. So I start watching it, and about 2 minutes into it, I'm going, gee, that scaler doesn't look like mine because it's been updated since 2020 or whenever we put or 2018, whatever it was. And so it's like, I'll go on to the next one. My advice is try the other resources before you go to YouTube. Or if you're going to do YouTube, do newer videos. Only the newer videos are on Vimeo, and they did that because YouTube started censoring stuff that if you mention cancer or COVID or that sort of stuff. So they actually moved to Vimeo. So let's see where we are. Okay. I hope you found this session this useful. Video will be available. Please feel free to reach out to me with email. If there's things you want to, if there's questions you have, I can answer those. If there's things that if somebody should do a session on this, I'm more than happy to entertain that. Whatever, that would be great. I'd look forward to hearing from you. The Q&A, which I did on Wednesday, so there's no Q&A with this one. But anything you have up from this presentation, you can always email me and I'll do my best to answer. So I would like to thank everyone for being here and for watching this. And I hope to hear from you. I'll talk to you later.